Welcome back to Voice of the Cape Drivetime. In today's book review, we chat to Fatima Galant Abrahams, the author of the book Imam Haron's BILAL. Fatima is the daughter of Hajji Abduraghmaan Pinkie Galant, who was a student of the late anti-apartheid activist at Steegman Road Mosque in Claremont more than 50 years ago. We're talking about Imam Abdullah Haron. In this book, he gives a personal account of his teacher and hero, and Fatima decided to become the pen that wrote the story. Fatima Galant Abrahams, assalamu alaikum, and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam, shukran so much.
All right, the book, to give its full title, Imam Haron's BILAL, Let Them Hear, Let Them Listen, and it also has a foreword by Imam Muhammad Ismail Davids, who is the son of Imam Sepp Davids, who I used to know very well in my younger years. But Fatima, my first question, I see that this book has been published by a publisher called SKYLIMIT. Is this a brand new local publisher? Just quickly tell us about that before we talk about the book.
Well, SKYLIMIT is actually a company that myself and my husband set up a few years ago. We were actually working at the time. We had both of us had full-time jobs. I was working in the publishing industry, and my husband was doing cabling. And then this was just something on the side, really, you know, with like a range of different things. Because I had the knowledge of, you know, publishing, a bit of design and print, I thought, you know, why don't I just create my own platform and just do it within the SKYLIMIT company.
Yeah, and it certainly caught my attention. Whenever I see a new publishing logo, I'm very curious, because the book itself, I can see that it's had the hand of somebody who knows publishing, because if I look at the spine, everything fits on the spine. You've chosen the right paper, the book is the right size, the paperweight is exactly correct. So, you know, all of these technicalities, the book passes with flying colors.
Wow, that is big coming from someone like you. Eh? You've got quite a few publications under your belt.
Yeah, look, a book sometimes is all about the feel before you read it. I'm sure you'll agree. Yeah. It's got to feel good. Okay, let's get down to the business at hand. Imam Haron's BILAL, I rate as a very interesting story, because it's the way that you've told it. It's easy to read, and you use all the local languages and the words that we use in the community. But why did you write the book? What was the deciding factor? Because the book is about your father.
I think that memories are very important. I think memories is something that shapes us. It is so very special and priceless, and to me, it's just something that nobody can take away from you. So that is probably one of the main reasons. And then the other thing, it was also a great way to pay tribute to this very humble man, you know, this Ashahid Imam Abdullah Haron, and also to make people understand what they have gone through in the past, you know, living through the apartheid era and injustice.
Now, of course, I think what is precious about this book is that it adds to the historical narrative, because here we've got a story by somebody who was close to Imam Haron, somebody who was a member of the Claremont community that was completely ravaged by the Group Areas Act. But tell us something more about your father. How do you see your dad being influenced and shaped by Imam Haron?
So my father grew up in Claremont in the 1960s, and his parents were Ahmad Halland and Khadija Khaydin. They actually used to call my mama Khadija Akhis Halland. And Dad was a student of the late Imam Haron, alongside many of his brothers, Usman, and then Muhammad Yusuf, who was better known as Baba. May Allah be pleased with him. Muhammad Salih, and then Uncle Ismail, the voice, who's better known as the voice, and Farid Halland, Yunus, Abdul Aziz, better known as Aju, and also their sister Aisa. Gosh, did I leave anyone out there?
You're going to be in trouble if you have.
And then, so I think all of them were really shaped through the madrasa at Steegman Road, Claremont, by the Imam as young children, and then also, like you mentioned earlier on, by their David's cousins, who was very close to the Imam, Ibrahim Sep Davids, and also his brother, Buddha Salim Davids. And so the Galant family is very huge, and we're a very close family, and anybody that knows the Galant family will tell you that you know, they have this musical background, and they like to sing and dance and jika. You know, they like to entertain, and there's never a dull moment. And I think that it's for this reason that the Imam and also Auntie Galant grew very fond of these young boys. Auntie Galant passed away recently. She played a huge role in the Maulid, and she's made mention of quite a few times in the book. So yeah, the Imam wasn't only their teacher, you know, he was this loving, humble family friend, and the kids loved him. And the way my father spoke, you know, they took him as, you know, like this superhero. You know, he took them into the townships to feed the poor, regardless of their race and like the color of skin. And because he worked for this sweet factory called Round Trees, you know, he always had sweets. And he loved rugby, and he loved to dress up, and he loved movies. So even though he had this busy schedule, there was still time to spend with his kids. And lastly, just to answer this question, I think my father also very much looked up to his brother Farid Galant the most, because Uncle Farid was such an inspiration. He was admired so much, actually, for the stuff that he could do with his voice. You know, people came from far to listen to Uncle Farid. They even brought their little tape recorders, you know, for what people from the Cape would refer to as him having carinkles, you know, for doing unique things with your voice. And so much so that Imam Haron even gave him the nickname the Golden Boy. Farid, the Golden Boy with the golden voice. And he had the most passion, and I think this is where it all started to take shape, you know, because my father, just like most of the other boys in the madrasa, they wanted to be just like Uncle Farid, to, you know, beg for an imasit, as they say. And I think this is how it all started, through Imam's teaching and also his character.
Now, how did you get your dad to tell his story? I mean, there must have been challenges. You were a busy housewife running businesses. In fact, how did you find the time, and how did you get your dad to tell his story?
I still don't know how I did it. It was just so hectic. So where it started was that my dad kept talking about these people, and we could see that, you know, they had a really good influence on his life. So because of this, my sister Aisha and myself, we suggested that he write this book. But this was like 12 years ago, so now I can imagine how all the challenges in between. Like, I wasn't even married then, but I will never forget what he said. He said, you know, niemand titi waar kan onze mensen nog boeken schrijven, because they didn't really attend school. He cut himself short. And I thought, wow, because, I mean, yeah, you have this amazing stuff to share about this remarkable human being whom you loved so much, Imam Abdullah Haron, who was, you know, tortured and murdered for standing up against injustice, and you choose not to share. So I wanted to do something special, you know, because to me, people who had a part in the struggle for freedom that we so enjoy today, I don't think that they should be forgotten about. And then also to make others understand the things that our parents had to endure in the 1960s. And it bothered me, and this is how it became more than just his story, because like you say, as a mother, I wouldn't want my children to, not stand up for what is right. I want them to stand up for what is right, and I wouldn't want them to feel embarrassed, just like if they lack one thing. Like in my father's case, this was for not speaking proper English, and this is how this book basically became special. So after that whole thing, we spoke to him, and then he said, I sal dit so waardeer, he would appreciate it very much. But it took very long, he even joked, die boek gaan seker klaar kom wanneer ek dood is. So it was very, very challenging, I was a demanding job and small children. I was also studying at the time. We were building a house. So, but because I've been in the publishing industry, I had some knowledge, of how to put a book together. And also, like when you work with people for a very long time, they just become like family. So they knew that, I was busy with this book for such a long time. And so I had the advice and the assistance. But I think what I didn't do was that I didn't set like a deadline. And with the company, with setting up on the company, and then my dad, on the other hand, writing like very diamaka. He would write stuff about the madrasa, and then he would write about something he remembers, like in the Claremont home growing up, and then all of a sudden speak about the janaza, when he stood on the balcony and made the adhan at the imam's funeral. So I had to rewrite everything and see, what sort of chapters that I can form with the stuff that he gave me. And then also the so-called Cape Malay, as you know, we've got a made-up language. There's English, there's Afrikaans, there's Malay, there's Arabic, there's this thing called the Nederlands lied. And so I wanted to add the footnotes at the bottom and also the glossary at the back to better explain to the reader.
Now, I think it's very important that you used local terms and language. The late Dr. Ahmad Davids, who at one stage was a programming manager at Voice of the Cape, believed that people on radio, for example, had to talk the way that we spoke in the streets. In other words, there was no problem. If flat was flat, that's the way we said it. And we should not be apologetic about the way we speak. And I think that is something that jumps off the pages here, is that anybody in our community will be able to pick up this book and they'll laugh, and then they will see the serious side of it, because, you know why? It's talking our language. It's not talking down to people for long words that none of us know the meanings of. It's just at the right level, and it deals with the vernacular, which I think is important.
Yeah, that is actually what I was aiming for. That's what I wanted, to just keep it unique and original, just like it's been told.
Now, when you look back at having gone through this process of writing a book, and I think I'm preaching to the choir when I sort of make the observation that writing a book is a very tough thing to do. It's very demanding. But what is the most satisfying thing about it right now?
Well, just to be able to hold it in my hand.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very nice feeling. The process is very stressful. I think you will know, because, like I said earlier, you've written a few books. It entails so much, and at least I could, rewrite it and put it into chapters and decide on picture sections and stuff like that. But to publish a book, it takes a lot of time and sacrifice, and not to mention, like, when you send it away to parser or whatever, and you get this whole bunch of rejections, and to actually pull it off on your own, it's a very good feeling, eh?
Of course, and I think what I like about it, this self-published, independently done. That's how most of us have to start in any case. And the fact is, the book is out there. Now for the commercial side of the interview, where is this book available? Where can it be found? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people listening to us right now want to get hold of a copy of Imam Haron's Bilal, Let Them Hear, Let Them Listen, by Fatima Galant Abrahams, the story of her father, Hajji Abduraghmaan Pinkie Galant. How do we get hold of the book?
Okay, we've got a website, the SKYLIMIT ProjMan website, where we also have an online store. Even though this is my first book, it is SKYLIMIT's 10th publication. So there's an online store on the website, SKYLIMIT. I think I'll also share the flyer on Voice of the Cape's Facebook page. And they can also, order via the website, or email to skylimitprojman@gmail.com. And all our details is also on the website.
And of course, I know that Umar Suleiman from Timbuktu Books is listening to us. I think it would be very good for Timbuktu Books to stock your book as well. How's that for another ad?
That's actually fantastic. We've exchanged a few emails, but then, you know, I had a baby, and then lockdown happened, and so inshallah, I hope that we can pick up that conversation soon.
Definitely. Fatima Galant Abrahams, the author of Imam Haron's Bilal, Let Them Hear, Let Them Listen. This adds to the fabric of our community. This will be a very precious resource for those doing research about that particular era, written in the vernacular, the way we speak, the way we talk. It's something that should be on every bookshelf in the Western Cape at least. Fatima Galant Abrahams, well done for your first book, and we look forward to the second, and I'm putting you under pressure. But thanks for talking to us on Voice of the Cape Drive Time.
Shukran so much for having me. Assalamu alaikum.